I want to wish all of my subscribers, all of my fans, a very, very Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or whatever you want to call it, and a very blessed and happy New Year. New Years are very, very important to me, especially, and to everybody, actually, because New Year's means that we can change things that we didn't like about the previous years and go on a different path. We can make changes that would be positive to ourselves and to our communities. And one thing that really, really needs to change, something that I regret I haven't talked about as much, but I've really wanted to, and something that the governments of the world and the politicians of the world really should talk about, is the path that many countries take when it comes to drugs, and I say illegal drugs. I feel that, and it's not that I feel it, it's a fact. The war on drugs has failed. The war on drugs has failed in America. It's failed all over the world. In fact, America, which has one of the strictest drug laws and is very, very tough on people when it comes to illegal drug use, is one of the worst countries when it comes to their citizens being addicted to drugs. It's a fact. And look at the opioid crisis. 2018 was probably the year of the drug, the illegal drug, the year of the drug. Now, if you look at countries like Portugal, where they've decriminalized drugs, and instead of locking people up and throwing away the key, like they do with a lot of drug crimes, oh, let's never mind the corrupt corporatists or the corrupt politicians, or even people who commit crimes worse than drugs, rape and gang violence, who get slaps on the wrist. Never mind them. We're gonna lock up the people who have crack cocaine or are addicted to it, throw away the key, and they're gonna be surrounded by a bunch of other bad influences where they probably didn't have a bad record to begin with, and now they come out of jail and they're completely transformed in a negative way. Portugal said, we're actually going to decriminalize that. Instead of doing that, we're going to give them help. We're going to order them mandated professional help, drug rehabilitation, and as a result, drug crime is one of the lowest, and drug-related deaths are one of the lowest in the European Union. Portugal has one of the lowest rate of drug-related deaths and crimes and addictions than the European Union average. That's Portugal. Compare that with America, which is all gun happy, ready to lock everybody up. I'm the cowboy. I'm going to lock up as many drug-addicted people as I can. Now, I know many people are going to say, oh, what you talk about? Oh, we have to be tough and this and that. We got to kick butt. We got to kick butt. I mean, the fact is that many people who want to kick butt and who want to use the police force to kick butt and who want to use police officers to, tear down people, many of these people would never be brave enough. They would be too chicken to join any police force, any military organization, anything that would put their life in danger. But they're all too ready to use the police force and the military to kick butt because they want to be tough and they want to show and project toughness to compensate for their lack of any bravery. But that's another story. The fact is that we need to go the Portuguese way. All over the world. America, Canada, Europe, it all needs to follow Portugal's example. Decriminalize drugs, and instead of locking people up, I'm not saying legalize drugs, but instead of locking people up, they need help. They need to have drug rehab, mandatory drug rehab, for as long as it takes. Doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, hypnotherapy, whatever it takes, and then we can follow Portugal on the path where they have one of the lowest statistics when it comes to drugs. We can follow that path. We can follow the American path where every small town and big city is corrupted with drug use and opioids and crack and this and that, an expense to the system with all these people locked up in jail, and they come out, they don't get any better, they're still addicted to it, the root of the problem hasn't been addressed. Or we can go down the Portuguese path, which is showing very well results. It's as simple as that. Now, the war on drugs, many people have heard this term, war on drugs. Well, it was a term that came out of the late 70s, early 80s. People say it began with Reagan, but I would say it goes back even to Nixon, where many of these politicians, it started with conservative politicians, and then when people like Bill Clinton came out, new Democrats, centrist Democrats, they adopted it, who decided that they were going to take an extremely tough stance on drugs. Now, I say tough in quotation marks because I don't think it's being tough on drugs, i.e., the drug problem. I think, I say that many people just have certain prejudices or misconceptions about drugs, and they want to hear somebody speak tough against a certain set of people, and everything will be okay. Never mind about the root problem. Let's just lock up as many people as possible. That's what I mean by tough on drugs. It's not tough on drugs itself, but it was just a system where laws were passed which made drug use, you get longer jail sentences, prison sentences, all this sort of stuff. And I'm not saying that, I'm not advocating for drugs. I'm advocating, actually, if anything, I'm the one actually advocating the elimination of drug use. But because let's put it this way. You can say that, oh, well, they could have chosen not to get the drug in the first place. But drugs are such a major controversial issue in our time, in our life. I mean, anybody with a brain that's working right would know that drugs is the most evil thing that has ever come out of our planet. And using it is going to ruin your life. Now, if you choose to take drugs, whether it's crack or heroin or opioids or whatever it is. Now, opioids is different because a lot of those are painkillers and then people get addicted to that. We need to talk about that as well, but that's a different thing. But if you decide willingly to take that into your system when you've never taken it before, then there's something not right up here. I mean, it's different with somebody who murders somebody. Yeah, they're affecting other people. They're affecting our community. They're killing people or raping somebody. Drugs, they're hurting themselves. They're damaging themselves. They're killing themselves. And someone like that needs help. Not to be locked up where they could go to prison and be faced with people who are rapists and murderers and very, very dangerous individuals, get exposed to all that, and then come out much worse than they were before. They need to be helped so that you can deal with it one time and never have to deal with it again. Instead of going through the system over and over again, the taxpayers have to pay for it, and it just goes on and on and on and gets worse and worse and worse until the person dies. Now, if you're caught selling drugs or you're caught driving under the influence with drugs, yeah, you should be arrested because you're harming other people. You're putting other people at risk. But drug use needs to equal help, not locking you up and just having this vicious cycle over and over. So we need to stop the war on drugs. We need to stop it, and all politicians on the left and the right are accountable for this. We need to go down the Portuguese model. And I guarantee you, I mean, people may hate what I have to say. Again, it's the misconception of drug use which people hate, which people hate. It's not necessarily fixing the drug problem. It's the fact that, certain people may use drugs and we need to be tough on these certain people. You can hate what I have to say, but Portugal is doing well with the drug problem. The statistics don't lie. America, not doing well. Canada, not doing well. So let's work with the country that has a solution and it's worked. This is the Rana Nation.